The last conversation I had with Dr. Fauci, with respect to whom I bear no ill will, he was in front of a committee. They only gave me 5 minutes. I asked him a simple question, and I got a felonious amount of BS. You have testified that you didn't give any money to the Wuhan lab to conduct gain-of-function research. Is that right?
That is correct.
How do you know they didn't lie to you?
Excuse me, sir?
How do you know they didn't lie to you and use the money for gain-of-function research anyway?
Well, we've seen the results of the experiments that were done and that were published, so none of that was gain-of-function. So
how do you know they didn't do the research and not put it on their website?
There's no way of guaranteeing that, but in our experience with grantees, including Chinese grantees, which we've had interactions with for a very long period of time, they're very competent, trustworthy scientists.
Unless you do your research on Twitter, you know that the American people have many, many questions about how Dr. Fauci, other public health officials, and our government handle the pandemic.
The Wall Street Journal took a look at states that locked down and states that didn't lock down nearly so much and concluded we now know that states that locked down fared no better and sometimes worse than those states that didn't.
You know, I really question those data, Neil. I'm sorry. There are many people who statistically looked at those data and disagreed with that, because when you look at lockdown, there's so many other things that go along with that. And there's been a lot of pushback on that type of a conclusion, that states that locked down did as well or better than states that didn't. I think that there's a lot of debate about that.
But let me be clear. Any American who wants to come home, we will get you home.
We ultimately rescued 17,000 people from Afghanistan, but yet we left them there. The State Department said on July 18th that we have 74,000 SIV applicants still in Afghanistan, not to count their 4.5 average family members that are with them that or have the right to come to America. And they're moving them out at the rate of 200 a week. That'll take 140 years to keep our promise. Well, many were desperate because they felt like the United States government abandoned them. And in fact, the United States government did abandon them.
If Republicans take back one or both houses of Congress, unless Dr. Fauci decides to seek asylum in some foreign country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat, and therefore which won't enforce a subpoena from the United States Congress, then Dr. Fauci, retirement or not, is going to be spending a lot of time in front of a congressional committee and committees if Republicans take back control. We're going to ask him questions about gain-of-function research, why he didn't push back on China's lies, why he pushed back so hard on the possibility, which we know is now real, why he went along with the greatest dissipation, if that's the right word, greatest taking of civil liberties of the American people in the history of our country. We're going to have a lot of questions, and we're going to subpoena him and expect him to answer. And I would not advise Dr. Fauci to put down a non-refundable deposit on a cruise. And getting answers to those questions from Dr. Fauci and others has been like trying to slam a revolving door. Now, the Democrats are in charge. They refuse to press, but the Republicans will. But if we take back control of this Congress, we will. And retirement or not, he will be subject to a congressional subpoena. And the American people deserve answers. They have been through hell. And to say nothing of the fact that we may have to go through this sometime again soon. We want to be ready.
In retrospect, Doctor, do you regret that it went too far? Whatever your original intentions were, and it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback here, but that it went too far, that Purdue couldn't go to school except remotely, that it's forever damaged them.
Well, I don't think it's forever irreparably damaged anyone, but I think obviously, and if you go back and people selectively, Neil, pull things out about me.
Virtually the entire American economy. Do you regret sweeping shutdown that some said made things worse?
No, I don't, Neil. And in fact, I think we need to make sure that your listeners understand I didn't shut down anything.